everyone. This is Rylee with Red Letter Talk. I'll wait, like always, just for a few minutes for people to get on, and then we'll get started. But we'll be in John 5, chapter 5, verse 5. So, okay, I see that one person's on. It takes a little bit to show me, but hello, whoever you are. We'll just wait 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get started. Oh, hello. I think that's probably Pam on today's Harvest Church. We'll just assume. Okay. Just gonna wait maybe a few more seconds. But yeah, this is Red Letter Talk with Rylee, which is when we're going over the words of Jesus and what he has said and the things that he's done. And we've been in this series of miracles and healings that Jesus has done, and just discussing them and everything. So today we're going to be targeting John 5, chapter 5, verse 5. And yeah, I'm just going to read it now. But it's, now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said to him who was cursed, "It is the Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to carry your bed." He answered them, "He who made me well said to me, 'Take up your bed and walk.'" Sorry, I'm just seeing this. Oh, hi Bill. Hi Ruth. So reading this, which I love this story because I love how, he had weakness. He was disabled in his legs. He couldn't walk. And how Jesus came up to him and said, "Do you want to be made well?" Which, if Jesus were ever to do that with me, I don't know, his response was so interesting of, his view of what needed to happen. And we kind of talked about this, we did talk about this last week, but he thought that that there was this well that he was laying around, that if he went in there and he was the first one, it was acknowledged that that person would be healed. So every time he would try and try, but somebody would beat him to the fountain. And I love that, there's different versions too where it says that Jesus said, "That's not what I asked of you," when you're explaining. Hi, Pam. But how I just love where Jesus says, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." And I don't know, it's so different than what the man expected. And I was thinking about this a lot today, how Jesus is just a symbol of hope. And to think that, man, 38 years, I'm turning 28 on Wednesday, and that's another 10 years that this man was disabled and couldn't move his legs. And I can't even imagine that, of being in that place where it's not like it is today, where, there's wheelchairs and there's, there still needs to be other work to make sure that there's wheelchair accessibility places and different things like that. But back then it wasn't like that. And, there wasn't that much for them. And so to think that, you're living in this place hoping that, you would get to, thanks, ma'am, hoping that you would get to this, this place of water before everybody else to, be healed. and for a man to just come up to you and ask you, I don't know, it's quite beautiful. And just how Jesus, yes, was man and he was also God, and just to think that how much hope he brought to people and how much, you know, pain was relieved from Jesus, and how much of, you know, darkness people were living in were able to live in light because of Jesus and what he has done for them. And I know in our lives, not just, you know, in the Bible and in scripture, but it's just incredible that, you know, Jesus really did come to win the hearts of all of us. That, you know, that yes, it's amazing that he healed them and he was able to walk, but honestly, what did that do to his spirit to be able to move his, you know, hi Scott, and his mental health, honestly, and, you know, to have that and just relieved. And I think that's something that's just so incredible about Jesus, is that he really, when all things feel lost and when things that's right, I wish you could just come back, I promise. But how, I don't know, just how beautiful it is that he, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. But just how, I don't know, just how beautiful it is. And I'm just reading this in the Bible, but, and how much what the cross did. And, you know, there's this, in this, sorry, I'm just reading it, in this Bible that I'm reading, which isn't my Bible, thank you, Pam, but it says in there, the cross is the most glaring symbol of human weakness, in response to which God revealed the greatness of his power by raising Jesus from the dead. And I think that's so beautiful, is that all that can seem lost, that's where I was going. All things that seem lost or seem hopeless, that Jesus really is hope, you know, and brings that hope. And that's something that, you know, when I was in youth ministry a lot, because, you know, the suicidal rate is so high, and something that I continually would try to pray for the students, and especially when we're in Australia, was just hope that there would be this, you know, light that they would see in Jesus, that things do get better. And, you know, I just think about this man of really probably thinking that this was going to be the rest of his life, waiting by the, sorry, it's making me cry, but waiting by the water to hopefully this thing that would not, you know, we know, but wouldn't heal him, thinking and hoping that this thing would heal him. And all, you know, Jesus did was walk to him. And hi, Jackie. And it took nothing, you know, of him just saying, rise up, take your bed and walk. And just the power of Jesus, that it didn't even cost, you know, Jesus to sweat or, you know, like push him up, or he didn't do this hard task, you know, in that way. But it was that, you know, the authority of Jesus and God, the authority that God has, that he was able to, you know, that his legs had to obey what Jesus said, that his, you know, body had to obey with the power of Jesus and his word. And, you know, I think that's an incredible thing to remember. And I kind of talked about, read a little bit about, it was on the Sabbath, and, you know, religious people lost their mind that it was on the Sabbath, because that is a day of rest, you know, and, but not understanding, though, that something so much more important, you know, that he's walking by, and it's kind of this, you know, if he let that stop him from healing, you know, this man, what is that going to cost but the man? You know, I don't think Jesus really cared what they thought, but he cared about the man. He cared about the man who for 38 years, you know, lived this way. And I just do feel like, if anybody is listening or anyone knows who somebody should listen, that, different things that you're struggling with, or different, health problems that you have, or something that, it's been a long time, that does not mean that it's hopeless and it's lost, and that Jesus still can't heal you, and that God's not going to heal you. I think don't lose hope on the promises of Jesus and the promises of God. Do not lose hope, and take heart, in those things, and in the faith that, this is going to happen. And I just feel like that is something. I feel like that's what I had to say. It was just whatever it is that you're praying about. And there's things in my life that I've been praying about for, my family and people in my family, just to really experience the love of God. And I know it's coming, and there are days where it feels lost, especially if they're telling me something that I'm like, oh, but praying and knowing that, okay, God, you have them and you love them more than I do, and trusting them with God. And I know that doesn't have to do with this, but just feel like I'm supposed to say that. So honestly, that's all I have. It's a little bit shorter. Sorry, Bill. I know that the longer ones are great, but I just felt like that's all I had to say today. But I'll pray us out. But thank you for watching. And Lord, I just want to pray for everyone that's listening, God, and I don't know, just the incredible people that are listening, that I know that have been really faithful to listen to these words. And I know that this is something that you really have put on my heart to say, Lord, and have been saying for 8 months now. And so I just pray, God, that that it would just be stirring something within, Lord, that your peace, Lord, that passes understanding, God, just over situations that people are in, and that when all feels lost, all feels hopeless, Lord, that really you come in, Lord, and just how wonderful you are, Lord, how beautiful you are. And I just pray all these things in your name. Amen. Sorry. Yes. Scott, I love that verse. Yes. It says, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel. Yeah. But yes, thank you guys. And thank you, Ruth. Hope you guys have a great week. And all right, I'll see you next week.